We have Dinkar Rao, business coach, with us. Welcome, Dinkar. Can you explain how you got interested in this field?
Thanks, Smita, for asking this question. During my formative years of my maybe engineering days, I used to love to sell computers. I also sold computer education, though I didn't know much about them at that point of time. But I only knew that, if you get students to the institute, you definitely get rewarded. And, that was something which drove me very hard. So, how do I get more walk ins? And you'll not believe, Smita, even today in the retail industry, the biggest challenge is how do we get more walk-ins into maybe your institute, or if you have a furniture business, furniture showroom, if you have
Hmm.
a hotel, how do you get more footfalls? There's a whole lot of technology behind it. But then whole thing started in a very simple way. I used to get interested in how do I personalize my conversations with strangers, talking to prospects, and then creating interest in them to walk into a nearest facility, and that is sales in B2C.
Hmm.
And, the whole career started there. And after completing my MTech, I wanted some variety in the way things happen on a day-to-day basis, hardwired around business development.
Hmm.
So that's how I got into, sales, where I thought possibly this is the only calling I have. And
But sales is much tougher to achieve than sitting at a desk and doing some sort of a coding job, or doing getting into the production line, or looking after production. It involves convincing another person to transfer their money onto you, and you transfer the product onto them. So how did that happen?
I think one good thing about sales is it gives you instant gratification. The moment you meet a person and the person shows interest in your product or service,
Hmm.
and you are the vehicle who's creating that interest, so you get immediate validation that you
Okay.
are doing certain things right. And the same is true when you don't get that, somebody
Hmm.
rejects.
Hmm.
That's also quick feedback. While research has its beauty, when you have to mine into a lot of data and come out with a hypothesis, prove it to people.
Hmm.
I think somewhere I felt business is also like a continuous research. You see, when you're doing a business, you're continuously researching into what can be good for you, what cannot be good for you. And sales is a very, very powerful arm of business where you directly focus on acquiring customers and retaining them.
Hmm.
What makes sales is precisely the most difficult part, which is acquiring customers and retaining it.
Hmm.
Normally, people, there were many temptations, of course, in my formative years to go for a software job because of software boom and everything. But something told me continuously that follow your passion. There'll be temptations, and go through the difficult route. So we used
Hmm.
to get a lot of campus placements in the organizations which were mostly into software.
Hmm.
I also got a campus placement in during my postgraduate in my I did my post graduation in School of Mines, Dhanbad,
Oh,
so
wow.
Indian School of Mines. So there
Okay.
I also got an opportunity for joining Hindustan Copper Limited.
Okay.
So with all that, something was the inner voice was very clear, and and possibly some of my friends laughed at me when I told them that I'm going to join sales. Which they said, "Oh, come on, you're done your post graduation engineering and why sales?" So they asked me a question, why don't you do MBA? And I possibly had a very easy answer to that, is that MBA doesn't teach you sales. It gives you theoretical concept or maybe a good grounding of
True.
how business works. But sales is extremely practical and very, very spiritual also.
Hmm.
The other dimension of sales is that you constantly refine the way you think, talk, communicate, reach out to people,
Hmm.
and try to win their attention
Hmm.
to consider your products and services. I've spent about 35 years in sales.
Hmm.
First 10 years were more into industrial selling,
Hmm.
which is B2B. What happens in industrial selling is that you go to different organizations,
Hmm.
which are business organizations, and explain them
Hmm.
what your products are and try to get their attention. I'll give you an example of industrial consumable, which is welding consumables.
Okay.
I never knew when I took up the job in welding that it will form my kind of a strong basis for my B2B selling.
Oh, okay.
Welding was so interesting in terms that you used to go to different steel industries, cement plants, forging industries, mining industries, and understand, for example, let's say this is a plate which is getting worn out.
Hmm.
steel plant. So what we used to study is what are the reasons it gets worn out, what are the reasons for the wear and tear,
Oh,
and then coat it with a alloy, and a alloy which can increase the life.
oh, okay.
Thereby, you increase the life of the plate and also save cost, save metal, save environment.
Lovely.
For the first 10 years of my career, between 95 to let's say 2004, I was completely engrossed in this whole aspect of application selling, and I never knew the kind of bearing it will have in my future career.
Hmm.
And some point of time, I felt that while I'm doing this job, I'm actually developing channel partners, developing my own team.
Hmm.
So why don't I consider sales coaching as a profession? My journey also very interesting and extremely challenging when you're going to cement plants, steel plants, very very tough conditions to travel. But
Hmm.
that possibly developed the nerves of steel, positive psychology, which helped me to really connect myself to something bigger.
Something bigger and better it was. Dinkar Rao, business coach.